should start by saying, first of all, that we just witnessed a minister. Nikki has been a minister for 7 years in a row, and the energy and the attitude and the ambition that she has for more change and for more impact in Greece is admirable. And I think that this is the things that we're witnessing in Greece over the last few years are extraordinary. As extraordinary are the things that we're witnessing in the corporate world, right? I mean, AI is a major growth driver and a major, game changer in the world right now. I think this is it goes without saying, and everyone knows that. I've been working at Endeavor since 2012. We've been working with high impact entrepreneurs for over 30 years now, all over the world, right? And what we've seen working with these founders, of course, obviously, some of the most profound founders that we work with right now all over the world are AI founders, right? They're pushing the boundaries of AI and what technology can do and what humanity can do in AI. I've had the privilege of working with brilliant minds all over the world. But what we've seen is that these leaders and high impact entrepreneurs, they don't just adopt change; they define it, right? And I think that we are in an era of change, and I couldn't be more thrilled to have 3 leaders with me to help us navigate what does that mean in culture, in job creation, in organizations, right? In strategy. Just to give you a fact, and what we're seeing right now. 88% of the companies all over the world report that they're doing AI experiments. They're starting using AI. Adoption in companies is growing fast. At the same time, 81% of them, right, almost all of them, report no significant impact on turnover or the bottom line, right? So, and according to all major studies, BCG, McKinsey, Microsoft, right, even Anthropic, right? The problem is not technology, the problem is leadership. So let's walk through that and let's understand what's happening right now in the corporate world. And I think that as we have future employees in the room, I think that this is a very important discussion. So I would love to we'll start the first question by also you introducing, saying a few things about yourself, like a couple of lines. But I very much love you all work in major organizations. Tell us what changes are you witnessing so far, and what has impressed you so far, maybe over the last year. Right? What has changed significantly in the way that you do work because of AI now? Nick.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. So Nick Alexos, I'm not going to get too much into my background. The reason we're up here is because we have context and we care about Hellenism and Greece and all that good stuff. But at the heart, I was in private equity for about 30 years, and I've been a serial CFO for large multinational businesses. I am not a technologist. I tend to think in terms of return on investment, and I would say AI is still very early on in the return on investments. There's a lot of media, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of activity about AI, but as an executive, as an investor, I still try to yearn for what I call RI, real intelligence. There was an interesting article a couple days ago about the humanities being re-energized because they teach people the nuances and the perceptions and try to understand really what's going on beyond the data. But at the heart, AI is a reality. It will change dramatically. A simple example I'll give this morning. I walked out of my hotel. My doorman could not get a taxi because they were all on Uber, right? I mean, Uber exists because of the platform technologies, whether it's the internet, navigational systems, satellites, and certainly smartphones and flat screens. It wouldn't have existed if those technologies didn't exist. So AI is bringing technologies that will facilitate new applications that we can't even imagine at this point. So I think it's pretty exciting, but I start with making sure that the human element invests in their real intelligence.
Good morning, everybody, and really nice to be here with you, and thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to share this event with you. Kostas Loukas, Microsoft, the past couple of decades in a number of roles around the world. And most recently, I'm the regional manager for South Europe for Microsoft, an area covering the Iberian Peninsula, Italy, all Balkans, Turkey and Israel. Look, I mean, there's a lot to be said about AI. You already made a very good intro. I think we're past the stage of the hype, and we're into the weeds of really getting into the return on investment. The projects are moving past the POC, the proof of concept stage, and they're moving into real production now. We're looking at real processes with companies. We're looking at the integration of agents. And then if I was to just pick the one thing that really has impressed me over the year or so, would be how fast humans have gone past the, okay, here I am asking questions to an AI or to a large language model, to the place of, okay, how do I work with this? We've already seen that happen.
Yeah.
We're already seeing integration of that type of intelligence in real processes with our customers and our partners. And that doesn't cease to impress me. And at the back end of this, and I think that's the gist of it for me, it's human ingenuity is there and is there to stay.
Yeah.
And it's all about, and this is what these events could be bringing, is to about how do we spark that, how do we make sure that we can open up the tools and allow young people to engage with it.
I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, and we usually tend to focus on what's not working, right? But if you really think, I'm not sure if we've ever reflected the pace of which we're adopting AI and we're becoming familiar with the technology at a personal level, right? It's extraordinary. A couple of years ago, I didn't even know Claude existed. And now I'm here, you know, having projects and everything automated on my on the way that I do work in a way that I wouldn't expect for myself, right? And I think that this is happening everywhere. Stavro, do you agree?
Let me see if,
We need to find a robot.
I'm tech support here.
So good morning to everyone. And first of all, a big thank you to THI. It's a very proud day for all of us that help the cause. And a big thank you from our hearts to THI for what you are doing for our country. I'm Stavros and I'm defined by three things. I'm from Kefalonia. I'm working for Coca-Cola for the last 16 years. On the last job, I was the general manager for Greece. Now I lead the cluster of countries from Greece. And the third thing is I'm a proud member of Regeneration's board.
Wonderful.
So those three things about me. And if you ask me about what has impressed me the last year about AI, look, in Coke we do a lot of things with AI. The one that is quite impressive is that our ads are commercial, like in the most iconic commercial, the Christmas ad of Coca-Cola. For the last 2 years, it's an AI-generated ad. Quite impressive. But what impressed me the most is that, and all of you who work for multinationals, you will understand me. Every time we were building a presentation, we're spending at least 2 weeks going back and forth with presentations. And we had people overnight putting KPIs, fixing the slides. It was a real job. Now, a presentation is done in a couple of hours, and we have seen it, we have reviewed it, we know what it is about. So, for me, this part of AI and how, you know, our staff integrates it on their daily and professional lives is the most amazing.
I had to check it, I had to look it up, but not just you run your ads the last 2 years using AI, but you're also using Runway. I looked it up. Runway is one, if not the most successful AI video generating company in the world, it's one of the most, for sure, one of the most successful ones. And it has a Greek founder, Anastasia Hermanidis. Runway is a Endeavor entrepreneur. We've been working with them for years, and it's an incredible company. Check them out. We have so many amazing, extraordinary AI founders around the world, and they should also work with Nikki for sure, because if something is going to bring Greeks back is if we have strong AI companies in the future here. So yeah, amazing ads, by the way, and very efficient, right? I mean, cost-wise, I'm assuming. So we have future recent graduate. I'm assuming it's a career event. We need to help people make right decisions going forward. Everything is changing. I I would not want to be in a position where I'm now entering the career race, if I must be honest, right? Because there's so much changing right now. Again, I can sympathize with young kids right now who are entering the career race. So, as you are all major employers and you're building teams for years now, what skills do you think young people will need to have going forward, let's say in the next 5 years, to make it in their careers, right? And be successful in what they're going to do. What are you looking for? How can we help young people in Greece right now be more competitive and be more successful in their job hunts? Mike?
Well, I'll start. First of all, I'd love to be 21 years old and just starting my career. I'm there.
Can I be 21 without looking for a job?
Yeah, I'll take it on. Bring me back to 21, right? But look, AI is really going to highlight the importance of technology and understanding how technology works. So no different than people had to learn how to use a computer, Excel, PowerPoint, which are all tools of communication and manipulation of data. But I also think data management is a very core skill set. We were talking earlier, a big part of AI rests on the quality of the data. And there's a huge focus on really getting the data right. As we know, academically, most academic papers in any field start with how good is the data. And then once you get the data, then you can build models around that. I think the same thing is true. So I would say people starting in their careers, as I said earlier, learn how to think. Jamie Dimon gave a private conversation yesterday to some JP Morgan clients, and he emphasized curiosity as a very important attribute. Honesty with yourself is important attributes. But beyond those core elements, understanding technology, understanding the value of data, and finding where you think there's opportunities is what creates a career. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about arbitrage. Where are there inefficiencies? Where are there opportunities? And build a view on those in order to argue why you're relevant in the workforce with the skill set, some of which I kind of talked about. So that's kind of my view.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. Stavro? I'm sorry, yeah, Costa, sorry. Let's go the same.
Okay,
let's go the same.
It's boring if we all go like
I thought
this,
I should be
it's fine.
creative. Yes, let's go. Let's mix it up.
For me, the skill that we are looking, because look, we're a consumer company, right? So for us, the skill that we look is critical thinking and adaptability. And we go through stages that IQ was more important. Then we moved to an era of EQ, emotional intelligence. Now, the new generation needs to add AQ, adaptability, intelligence, and how they can adapt to organizations and implement critical thinking. So if you think about it, how you go fast to build your presentation, but you slow down, you see what you have done, you implement your critical thinking before you hand it over. So this adaptability and critical thinking for me, it's...
How can one show adaptability when they're applying for a job? I mean, how do you look for signals of adaptability?
For us, it's very easy. It's two things. Forget what you have studied. Forget the country that you have, grew up. So you need to go through different functions, and at some point you need to go through different international experiences.
Wonderful. Costa?
Yes, look, that's the difficult thing when you come last is, first of all, you can build on the others, which is good, but then they've said all the smart things, and you can only try to add something that makes sense. Look, in the upcoming years, for sure, the technology part, the technical skilling part will be important, okay? But in large part, it's actually interesting because with the evolution of AI, the technology part becomes easier also, right? Everybody has access to coding now. In the past, only coders could. Now you can code on natural language, in essence. So there's one piece of work there, but then the critical thinking part is super critical. Right now, how you actually form your interaction with AI through the use of language, that's super critical. Two people doing the same job, they can really have different outcomes based on how they prompt. That whole conversation is there. And then understanding what comes out and having the critical mind to say, okay, does this make sense? Or is it hallucination, right? So these type of skills, and I would add on the adaptability piece, there is going to be tools that come out again and again. There's going to be a flavor of the month, large language models. Now it's Mythos. Before that, it was the other piece from Anthropic. Then it was Gemini. Before that, it's ChatGPT 4.5, DeepSeek, and so on and so on. Every couple of months, we will hear something new. So sorting that out and making sure what's the right tool for which job, that's one question. And then having the right platform and the right thinking around how do we integrate those in our craft. That is the actual skill at the end of the day. And that doesn't change with time.
I agree 100%. I think also one thing that I cannot imagine how stressful it must be for people looking for jobs right now, right? Of all ages, of all seniorities. And I think that what we see, at least when we're working with over 250 companies just in Greece. There's dozens of thousands of companies over the world, right? The one thing that you need to know, perhaps if you want to stay productive and successful in your job hunt, I think that technical skills right now, they're not important, right? I think the most important thing to show in an interview, as you apply for a job, is appetite to work with AI, right? And that's what employers are looking for, because skills and the technology is changing so fast, it doesn't matter anyway, right? So if you show that you are experimenting with AI, if you want to build your future output with AI, that's all it takes to be at least on the side where you'll be reevaluated and you won't be rejected automatically. Speaking of that, though, and one thing that we need to recognize, and I have with me major job creators here, I know, so it's important to hear your thoughts, right? There's two sides of the coin. One says that okay, we can become more productive, more efficient, more successful, more wealthy, whatever. And at the same time, there's I can imagine thousands of jobs being cut because of AI, and the world is divided right now. The more optimists, the more pessimists. I would love to hear your thoughts. What about job displacement, right? How do you think that job market will be affected in the next few years? Are you worried about job cuts?
Let me start with
Yeah,
this.
wonderful.
Okay. Look, first of all, I'm an optimist on this, but a realist also, realism. So every technological evolution changes the job landscape, the employment landscape, and that's going to change that too. I don't like the kind of this polarity of job or no job. For me, it's about tasks. So we need to break down what the tasks are. In every job, there are repetitive tasks. These tasks, of course, could be taken by an agent, right? Some of these tasks could be. But then there is a whole other part of our job, a creative part, a part that's about reasoning, a part that's about communication, a part that's about collaboration, that's not going to be taken care of by AI. So it's all about thinking the evolution of the roles and the amplification that AI will bring on these roles. That's A. And B, there are going to be roles that will be created on top of AI, roles that we don't even think about that. And we already see some of those emerge, which is roles that have to be orchestrate humans and AI in specific processes and go for those outcomes, humans that think and redesign processes around specific models. So there's a whole new universe of roles that we can't even know yet that are rising. So instead of getting into the competition of will this thing replace me, I think the mindset, especially because this is a career fair, the mindset is how do I use it? How do I make it part of me? How do I show my interest and how do I integrate this into my CV and what I bring to the market?
Thank you. Nick?
So I think you're going to see job losses where there's repetitive tasks. If you're working at a call center doing routine work, that job might get eliminated. But I think AI will drive massive economic development. And I think of AI applications really in kind of 4 different end markets. One is coding, and I'm not a technologist, but my understanding is that there's a lot of efficiencies that AI brings in coding. But I think there's going to be an expansion of coding and new applications out there. So I think there'll be growth net, it's just differently. The second is in the sciences. AI is going to drive significant innovation in the sciences, whether it's in medicine, chemicals, new applications. There's just a lot more discovery out there that that AI will drive. And certainly I think that's great for human healthcare. The third is consumer activity. I mean, I mentioned Uber earlier. I think AI will drive a lot more consumer interaction. Your smartphone is going to be your concierge. It's going to think about what's going on. It's going to listen to your conversations. It's going to settle arguments between you and your spouse, right? It's going to say, no, that's not what you said, okay? But people are going to engage in that kind of AI interaction because it will provide value. And the last one, which I think is the hardest one, is in the commercial markets. You know, I worked for years in the chemical distribution business, finding efficiencies in shipping lanes, finding efficiencies in pricing of product is still hard because the data is not complete there. And I think data management is going to be an area of growth. So net, it really depends. But as an economy, I'm actually pretty excited about AI, what we'll do in the world. But it will step up everybody's game. So make sure you remember what you tell your spouse.
Well, I know that for conflict management and resolution, it's been used in companies. I didn't know that. I'm not sure if it's a great idea to start using it in marital problems also. Please.
We never had a problem in my family about settling disputes with my spouse. We know who's right. We don't need AI.
She's right? She's right, of course.
She's even more right than AI.
So, what about, how do you think on job loss?
Panagiotis, I'm an optimist. I know I couldn't agree more with the rest of the panel. I'm an optimist. I believe we're going to see plenty of jobs that we cannot even imagine today. And we are going to see a huge spike in things that cannot be done by AI. We cannot be translated to 1 and 0. I believe that everything that the minister talked earlier about reskilling, the work that Regeneration, Odyssey, the other startup that THI supports, is hugely important. That's why I'm an optimist.
Wonderful. And I think that maybe leadership is the only guardian in the steps forward, because I can think of 1,000 things, different things going wrong, right, in that process. Because, yeah, of course, it will create a lot of jobs, and it will push economic, growth, and we will see things that we've never seen before, and jobs that we don't even can imagine today. But in the meantime, right, there might be disruption that can be world-level disruption. I mean, it can be entire chaos for a few years or even decades, and our people are fairly, at least afraid and skeptics on how should we treat the transition period, at least, right? And it's all about leadership. And I had a podcast interview. We have a podcast, and I get to interview founders every other week. And there was a robotics founder who's doing really great work globally. And he said, I asked him about job loss, and he said to me, "What we're giving giving back people the gift of time and freedom to philosophize, right, and do creative work and be artists and be whatever." And so, in my mind, constantly the whole thing, right? And I'm an optimist. I love AI, and I love AI founders, and I'm with technology for sure. I was thinking, go tell that to the lady in Thailand, mother of 5, who her only way of providing for the family is the work at the local factory, right? That's going to be disrupted for sure, and we need to think about that. We need to be conscious about that. And speaking about leadership, the same thing goes into how AI is adopted within the organization, right? This is also stressful, and I'm wondering if you've thought of what are the responsibilities of an employer as we proceed into this adoption phase, right? How can employers help staff be more, adopt AI and be more productive and, phase into this process? You want to start?
Yes, Panagiotis. Yes, I will reply on employers, but there is a big part that we need to discuss as society, because it's the governments, the social part of it. But as employers, the most important thing that we need to do is honest conversations. We need to have the honest conversations with our people, and show them the path that is coming, right? If you are someone on most of the departments today that companies have, we need to be honest with our people, and we need to show them the path which is coming, and that sooner or later it will be disrupted. And if they are not adaptable, but back on my first point, you know, there's consequences down the road. So for me, this is the first one. And then a company needs to have reskilling programs, and needs to be open-minded for the individuals who want to change departments, who want to adapt their jobs to do so.
Costa?
Yes, please allow me to react a bit to the previous statement you made. I mean, your friend made on the gift of time and all that. Look, this is good on theory, but at the end of the day, people need to put food on the table, right? And they need to work. So for us, the part of inclusion, making sure that we include everybody on the journey of AI, not some people, not create further disparities and separation in the market, is critical. And there's another word that we want to introduce, and we feel strongly about it, which is dignity. AI with dignity. And I think this cannot be an afterthought, right? So I'm being also, you know, I work for Microsoft, yes, but I'm also European. And I very much appreciate the work that currently Europe is doing, making sure that we have the right guardrails to go through this transition in a way that doesn't amplify social inequalities, but rather brings us all together with
I
this.
love that you're saying that. I think that, you know, we need to be aware also, these type of conversations are more active and on a higher level in Europe, right?
Yes.
This is the region where we are more concerned and, you know, more active on pursuing the ethics of it all, right? Yes. And we need to appreciate that. We are in a great region right now, and we need to be proud that we are in Europe and we're having these discussions. Probably this is our role to play also in this situation right now. Thank you.
Right? Okay. So at the end of the day, you know, the belief is that we'll buy some tools. Maybe we put a person in charge of AI implementation, and then off you go. But it's the exact opposite. This is a cultural journey. And we need to go with our people. It starts with really looking deep into the process, making sure that we have the skilling, reskilling piece, and then bundling it up together to serve it in the organization.
Thank you, Nick.
Just quickly, corporations are a collection of disciplines. My discipline is Chief Financial Officer, so I have to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're maximizing return to our investors on a long-term basis, and that includes where we spend money and how we develop our talent, and making sure we have guardrails, because it's also risk mitigation and doing things like dignity and maturity and all that other stuff. But, you know, I still feel that people should put a pen to paper and say, okay, I'm going to spend X. What am I going to get? How am I going to get it? But AI is a reality. It's going to change a lot. The media is all over it. And we have to be careful, you know, what's right and what's not. But at the core, people just need to be good thinkers, need to be honest with themselves, and really try to lean in and add value. But I'm pretty excited.
Wonderful. I'd like you're all fantastic leaders, and everyone, you know, whenever you have something to say, people should hear. And we have young minds sitting on the audience, young people who are about to enter the job, start building their careers. One piece of advice that you would like to offer them as a takeaway from this conversation, if you want to.
For me, I will stay on this message, like to be adaptable. Forget what you studied, forget the grade that you graduated, and open your minds to new experiences. And if you want to work for Coke, we'll be very happy.
This is where you talk about Copilot now.
I'm not doing a product placement. So the message from me is simple. Don't compete it, embrace it, and amplify your craft with it. Don't forget what you studied. Amplify your craft with it.
Yeah, so I'll say the reason we're proud of Hellenism is because of its exceptionalism. And exceptionalism comes with sacrifice and commitment. That's why we look up at the Acropolis and we think it's a marvel. So I would encourage people to seek exceptionalism, recognize the sacrifices that you're going to make, and make the next generation of Greeks proud of all of us.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, you're amazing. Thank you.